guys, we are back. Welcome to the Ready Set Flow Podcast, episode 341 with Domo, a.k.a. Onyx Muse. What's up, Billy?
What's up?
Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Love to be in the City of Angels.
This is one of the cool things about the internet. So this is the first time you and I have met, but we have mutual friends. Christina from the Babes and Buds podcast. Shout out, Christina.
Shout out. She was actually just with me at Avian.
I was supposed to tape her there last week. I was just so busy. I couldn't fit it in my schedule, unfortunately. But I did their show like 2 or 3 times now.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's a good time.
Awesome. You know the Hayes Radio guys?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking to him about maybe coming on, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and like figure out the package I want to go with. Like,
Sure. They're great people, and
they're good guys.
Andrew's amazing. Got a great network, and the studio is really cool.
Yeah, it's up in Woodland Hills. Shout out Andrew and Hayes Radio.
Shout out Hayes Radio.
Are you on Hayes Radio with the Green Room?
Yeah. So he did put our my show in his show.
His lineup
operation, yeah. And so we like to do more things. I'm so busy with my show, getting that set up and the guests, and now we're kind of getting a little bit more momentum. We have a great editing team finally.
I was actually just listening to the this morning. I was doing some other work this morning, and I was listening to the episode with Brenna McKenna.
Yes,
because she and I are internet friends.
Yeah,
she actually was one of my So I have like a little bit of a following on Instagram, and it all kind of happened during the pandemic. And she caught on to me early. She's like, "Oh, I love your stuff, thanks." And this was like I think she had just started her OnlyFans. Like this is way before she got into adult entertainment. But that's one of the cool things. Like, there's a lot of downsides to the internet, a lot of creeps, a lot of weird shit, and a lot of like divisiveness. But then you could you could start a whole career based on the internet now, right? You could meet people you wouldn't otherwise be friends with.
I definitely take advantage of that privilege now.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, because you've been in the adult entertainment industry for how long?
Since 2014.
Okay. Does that make you like a veteran?
I'm like a mini vet, I would say. I definitely got in right before the whole camming was just kind of starting.
Yeah.
And then OnlyFans followed suit after. But so it's like I came in right before that, and the industry was a lot harder. It was a lot more political. It was
There's politics in the porn industry.
There is.
What are the politics in the porn industry?
You're of course, what agent you're going for. Okay. What their connections are, directors and companies and stuff. So there's a lot of, if you're in the business, you kind of know how it is. You learn. Yeah. So now with OnlyFans, it's crazy because you have the ability to do.
You must be able to make so much more money, and you have complete control over your schedule, right? Because I feel like before there was like middlemen, right? It was like, I guess, a porn production company or a director you had to get to know and work with them. Yeah, and then they would pay you based on the scene. Yeah. But now you have like the subscription model, right? And you go direct to your fans, so you're not giving them anything. If you have your own OnlyFans, you can tell your agent to go fuck himself on the 10% of that.
Yeah,
if you're doing all the work. So it's like, that's why Hollywood agents hate podcasts. Because I'm like, why would I give you a piece of this if you did nothing to earn it? If you get me a movie role, a commercial, some shit, I get that.
Maybe,
You book me somewhere I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But can we get 10% of your podcast? No. This was way before you were fucking interested in me.
Yeah, totally. No, I totally get it. Before you had to do like a go-see to actually
What's
a go-see. You had to go meet the director in person to make sure.
You have to fill me in on the porn industry.
Yeah, I'll give you a little juice. But yeah, you had to go see the director in person to see if he would even want you. Now it's like.
Did they do like the casting couch thing? Was that legit?
That was not legit.
Okay. There's a lot of things in adult entertainment that I think the regular sucker thinks.
Maybe I did not go to those agencies. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen or it's not there. It didn't happen to me.
Okay.
But the internet now, for what it is with social media, it's made it tremendously easier. And then also if I started with like brown hair and no tattoos, I have to stay like that because you don't want to ruin the fantasy for these fans.
Oh, so they kind of pigeonhole you in a weird way. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's almost like if you're a rap star, it's like don't put out a rock album.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And then for me, I'm a dominant person. Like I have I am a dominatrix. But for them, because I'm tiny and petite, you know, they were really typecasting me for a submissive role. So like being a dom in a
So you got a
porn
little
is
bit of an
not
uphill battle.
Yes, a lot.
Is the money better? Money's got to be better on the OnlyFans.
Money is so much better.
How much does OnlyFans take? 20 points? What are they?
20% on
so like
every transaction. Yeah.
Okay. But the money's got to be better. I mean,
the money's better. The freedom is a lot easier. There was some limitations that happened due to Miss Bella Thorne.
What happened?
Putting herself into the mix. So a lot of these, you know, celebrities that, you know,
yeah, I mean, like the biggest one on there is like Bad Baby or whatever. The Catch Me Outside.
Yeah. So, and I think she's actually pretty good for the industry, but it's the, you know, Cardi B's are on OnlyFans. Well, OnlyFans doesn't really claim the adult industry. So when these celebrities go on, you know, these guys are thinking they're going to see some tits and ass, but it's not. Maybe it's like another bikini type of pic.
Well, I've heard that OnlyFans is trying to move away from that because it's so, you know, porn dominant that now I know a lot of comics that OnlyFans is reaching out to try to get them to like persuade them to come on and do a show on there because they don't want to have all their revenue just be linked to porn, which I guess, look, it's a company, so they want everyone using it. They don't give a shit why you use it. They want you on. But I wonder, like you said, if that alienates all, like their original user base.
That is definitely going to, you know, change the volume of their customers. Because let's be real, it's a household name now. OnlyFans people are going there, and most of them are jerking off because they're paying for it. You know,
that was the original concept.
So if you take that away, what we're gonna see. Cardi B doing the stuff that she's already doing on social media.
Oh, is that what's going on? Like these super famous people going on, and people are thinking, and like customers are thinking, oh, I'm going to see Cardi B naked, and it's just her doing normal shit.
They are definitely gentrifying the website, if you will.
I've never heard it used like that. Gentrifying OnlyFans.
Gentrification going on our OnlyFans, but yeah. So, you know, it's like, hey, we're your fucking most loyal marketers. We are promoting the fuck out of that website. So if you take us away, it's gonna be fucked for us because now we have to go somewhere if you are not thinking smarter. So what I've been doing is I've been doing data collecting.
You could get your data from OnlyFans.
I'm doing it.
Oh, okay. You have like
but
your own website.
OnlyFans is not helping me. Yeah,
of course not.
They're not going to help. Why would they?
So, if you have all your customers, you don't need them.
So when they did that scare, that was pretty
when
scary.
they were going to pull it a few.
They were going to pull it, and that was pretty scary because it was like.
That was your salary.
I need to start. What's your email, sir? Blah 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 blah. Like no. So then they you know, it was kind of like Indian given. You know, they like said no, take backs.
Well, I think they realized. I think what happened is they realized that if they didn't have adult content on there, they would lose 90% of their revenues. I mean, like that's why people go on there.
That's a lot.
You know, yeah.
And so. To the Bella Thorne thing, she made a post, said she's doing OnlyFans, put a one picture, unlockable for 200. At that time, there was no cap of how much we can charge. We were able to charge whatever the fuck we wanted, and then there was no delay of payment. So we were able to get that payment tomorrow if we wanted to.
Okay.
So when she came in, she did that picture. They're like, oh my God, it's a Disney character. So they unlocked it, and it was her in a bikini picture that she could have posted.
For $200. And they're like, what the fuck? And she already took the money down. So she probably made whatever, $30 million.
There was a lot of chargebacks that the OnlyFans did not have that. They weren't prepared for something like that. So now they changed
you can say, I don't want to pay for this. This is bullshit. And they'll recoup it.
I mean, I'm not trying to promote that, but yes, I'm sure you can make a claim to your bank.
Because I was going to say, it seems like that would be a scam, right? Like if everyone thought she was going to be naked and they paid $200 for this picture, and let's say the $20 million and she could immediately cash that out. She basically just robbed $200 million.
She made $2 million overnight. And then right after she did that, then she puts a post and says, hey, by the way, on my OnlyFans, I'm not going to be naked, just a warning.
That's fucked up.
So guys were pissed. We were pissed because we were like, hey, whoa.
Well, they're going to start doing that to your page. Guys are going to be like, I don't like this bullshit.
Oh, there's trust issues for sure. And then also, too, it's like, hey, there's a lot of us that we're giving out the whole shebang for maybe like, $40, $50.
Whatever. Not charging her rate.
Are very calculated in the sense that as much money as they earn, they are definitely making sure they're getting their ROI when they pay anything. Yes, they do have a porn budget. And then she made a docu. So in her defense, she wanted to save us. So she made a documentary that was not. It was whatever. Yeah. And then she put on her Twitter, she goes, oh, I'm here. I'm going to repost your guys' OnlyFans. Put your link. So all the girls put their link. She did not do one.
She didn't do any of that?
Nothing.
So she pissed off the creators and the people that bought her bikini photo?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Took it to the bank, ran off.
What a good scam if you can get away with it.
Yeah. She savored the opportunity. You can't knock her for that, but...
Yeah. Do you have a lot of trouble? Because I know recently, I was actually talking to a comedian friend of mine. It seems like, because I'm constantly in trouble on Instagram, it seems like they're going after comedians and OnlyFans girls. Because I know quite a few girls who do it, some who were comedians, some who are not, some were in adult entertainment, and they just constantly getting their accounts deactivated.
And it's the cannabis industry too.
Which is crazy because that's fucking legal in most of the states now.
They're trying to go with the fact of that it's federally illegal. So, and also you have to keep in mind it's AI. So that
it's not
AI.
It's not exact.
It's not a person no more. So they can't really categorize that it's legal in one market or whatever. So. I think they can, they have a lot of improvement that they need to do, but man, I can't even, there's some girls that they could post a lot. I post like one booty pic and I'm like, fucking my reach is all down. There was also a couple girls that were kind of getting their pages extorted that.
What do you mean extorted?
Get the suspension
and
then a person has the solution, $8,000, $10,000, because they know that they're porn people.
Yeah.
So
and that's
they already have, I think Instagram, they want to get in on the pie too.
I don't know why they just don't make, because you have age settings.
Yeah.
So if you set it to 18 and over, they should allow you to do.
No problem.
Yeah, like go as far as you want.
Right.
It's like, oh, we're protecting the children. Well, they're not. Anyone under 18 would never see my page if I set it to 18. So I shouldn't get in trouble for, a dirty joke, or you shouldn't get in trouble for posting your butt or whatever the fuck.
Right. It's like we're adults. Like have the kids section over there,
They do it in everything else. Think about movies. Like movies are rated R and they won't let a child in.
Yeah.
Unless they're with an adult.
Well, they're trying to do putting my hands up. Like there's nothing we can do. There's many things you can do.
Yeah,
like,
they're just getting lazy over there.
Yes.
Did you hear that? I heard in Louisiana now you have to show your ID to get onto a porn website.
That's true.
Which how do you scan your ID to get into the site? And two, where the fuck is it going? Because I wouldn't feel safe. That's how you steal someone's identity, right? Like,
yes.
If you have to scan an ID, that means that data is going somewhere.
Yes.
So that means that someone can access that database and steal everyone's ID because they have your driver's license.
And
so
that,
I don't know how that works.
can be significant. That's one state, but that could be significantly dropping business for Pornhub because people don't want to do that. They're going to go to the other pages where they don't have that issue.
Do you know how that works? Because I'm curious as to how it must be advertising.
It's like
how the free streaming porn websites make their money. It's got to be advertising, right?
I know how they make their money. I don't want to give
too
much of the juice.
Why, you got a piece of it?
But it's not even that. No, it's I learned. So basically a lot of those scenes, they get sold to these tube sites.
Okay.
And that's how, so, let's say some lady does a porn and she's on, one of the bigger sites like Brazzers. So she gets on Brazzers, and maybe for that little time, it's everywhere. It's new. It's hot. Well, now they've already shot like many
Okay, a couple
other
months later when the new
scenes.
scenes are out.
So then now that's got to go to the bottom. But instead of that just being on the bottom, it's like, hey, let's sell that
It's
off.
kind of like Seinfeld. They sell it into syndication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
yes,
like,
yes.
all right, we ran it originally on NBC, and now we're going
Yeah.
to sell it to TBS and all these other cable and Netflix, so you can put it on there.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
Yeah. So
God,
that's
they must make a killing. doing
sort
that.
of how they make money. Yeah.
Does the talent get like a back end piece on the resale?
No, we've
Oh fuck! So the
sold-
production companies must be making bread.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So we
No
you
wonder you
know,
want to be on OnlyFans. Fuck that. You keep all
that's
the money.
why. Yeah. So now you
And then you can, and if it's good
you're
enough video,
kinda
you can
seeing
sell it to Pornhub or whatever if it's old, if you wanted to, right?
I mean, hey, Pornhub.
No, but I'm saying
Yes,
if Pornhub was smart, they
absolutely.
should be reaching out to like the top OnlyFans
Absolutely.
actors and be like,
The
hey,
whole thing
you have an
is-
old catalog that we can buy from you.
I gotta find the guy who's running these tube sites that's gonna take it. So I'm digging. I'm
right.
swimming.
I'll keep searching for you.
But yeah, that's essentially what can be done with owning. That's why I always got really. I'd follow these really great cam girls, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you're fucking killing it. No agent, like it's giving me inspiration. And then they cross over and they do mainstream, and it's like,
Is there still enough
Whoa.
money in mainstream though, considering how much money there is to be made in OnlyFans?
There-
As I know, like for a while, the porn industry was kind of like the music industry, where everyone was just getting it for free. Like, why the fuck would I buy back when there were DVDs or whatever?
It's
Why
so
would I buy a
funny.
DVD if I could get it on the internet?
It's so funny because I hear so many like different podcasts or people talking about OnlyFans. Yes, it's successful, but is it going to stop major productions? No.
Okay.
There's still money being made. And it depends on your viewer. So maybe like some guys, they might be into that. But the OnlyFans is like your like BTS, like behind the scenes actors.
Okay, these are your
closer
like, these are
look
like if you're a
of
stripper. These are the regulars.
yeah,
You know that like
yeah.
you know their life story kind of thing. 'Cause
I-
I'm always curious, like if there's hardcore streaming porn on the internet, why would you pay for one video from one girl? But I guess it's because they're like a dedicated fan.
Yes,
You know.
because they want, a custom,
Yeah.
or maybe that girl's giving something that she's not showing when she's shooting with
Yeah.
the production. So it's just a different viewpoint. There is maybe not as many as before, but there's still a good amount of production companies that are doing really fucking good.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
And so when you shoot with a production company, is it kind of like they give you like you have like a menu, like if you want me to do these things, here are the prices?
You do that on your OnlyFans, but no, like when you're with the production companies, it just basically validates you that
Okay.
you're
No, but I'm saying what you do in the scene, like all right, today I'm not doing anal, but like if you wanted me to do anal, it costs extra. Like here's a number.
not
Is
for
there,
the
like,
production company.
Oh,
Like,
they
for
tell
the
they tell you
production
right away, like we're
company,
shooting
it's-
this. Do you are you interested
yeah,
in see? Okay.
Yeah, so
they
they try
send
to
you a shot list.
They
like,
try
I'll
to
do that,
book
or I won't do that.
you. They give you all the specs of like the scene, and then that star either confirms or isn't down. It's just like a movie.
Yeah. And do you do a lot of mainstream still, or is it mostly only?
I haven't.
How do you break it up now?
I haven't done. I stopped doing mainstream for a while. There is some talks about maybe doing a few. I'm a mom now, so it's like, and nothing against.
How many kids you got?
I'm sure just one.
Okay.
I'm sure that there's other great moms that are in mainstream. Just for me, it took me a step back where I can still do my OnlyFans, but it's not like out there.
Well, you think the OnlyFans is a little bit safer in terms of exposure, or was it more like, oh, the shooting for mainstream was like more of a job, and I don't have time because I have a kid. I do it on my schedule.
Shooting for mainstream is definitely it is more of a job, but it is definitely big time on the exposure.
Okay.
When you're with these big production companies, they're at these events. It's like the first pages on Pornhub, so it's validating that you're a badass bitch in the industry.
You're working.
But OnlyFans, you got to do all your marketing. There's no explore page, so there's more work to it. I think it's just two different jobs.
How old's your kid?
Two. She's turning 3.
Very nice. Are
Yeah.
you? I mean, I'm sure it's a common question, but given that you're moving to OnlyFans, are you worried that like she's gonna someday find out? I mean, because
I'm having a lot of the talks. I'm not really prepared, but I think what I want
you're a
to
few years off before she's even talking.
what I want to, as I raise her, I want to have healthy conversations about sex where you know, it's inviting for her to have that communication with me, and not make her feel like, you know, my parents made it feel like, oh, sex is bad, you know.
Well, yeah, there was a shame attached to it, but also
Yes.
not even that. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'll be 40 this year.
I'm 33.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
You look great.
Congratulations.
You look great for 33.
Woo, thank you.
But when I was a kid, like it wasn't, you know, we just didn't even talk about it.
We didn't talk.
It was like,
yeah.
You know, you kind of learn from your friends at school, you know.
It was kind of like that bad, that nasty stuff. We don't bring that up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my mom didn't really leave that window open for me. That
made you feel comfortable to talk to her about it.
Oh, hell no. I still don't even feel. I mean, I tell my mom, but I still can't even. Now I think my mom's like more joking about it, where I'm just
gotten
like,
used to it after 10 years.
I'm a little like mortified. I'm like, what in the fuck? I'm like, who are you, lady? No, no, not at all.
Because I actually feel embarrassed about that. I was talking about it the last podcast. My grandmother follows me on Facebook, which is why I don't have my Facebook linked to my Instagram.
Okay.
You know, my parents.
What's
my
she
mom,
doing on Facebook?
Old people are on Facebook.
Yeah.
And my mom to see my jokes. She's been to my shows, you know, but there's certainly some jokes I don't want grandma hearing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But has your mom like checked out your work?
No.
No.
I think
there's got to be some, which is funny that like.
Well, I told my parents like before I did it, and my dad was like, "Great, I'm glad you're telling me. I don't want to know." And I was like, "Okay, great." I was like,
so he didn't feel like he fucked up or anything like that?
I just need that off my chest because, you know, when I did join, and I didn't even know that this could happen, but obviously it's very easy. Yeah, you get some weird people that you may know, or even fans that try to say, "Oh, I'm gonna dox you. I'm gonna like tell your parents," because they know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they know that it's something that some girls who do the industry, maybe they don't tell.
What is wrong with people? Like, why can't they mind their own fucking business?
Because they're sick.
I don't understand.
They're bitter and they're fucking jealous that women get to do this freedom, and you know, so they want to go poop on parade. But I do a lot of dominatrix stuff, so
all right, well,
I know how to handle those guys now.
Yeah, I guess the thing you worry about, and I guess maybe it might be less of because if I were in your shoes, I'd worry about like my kid getting teased about it as they get older. You know, like in 8th, 9th, 10th grade. And I think women, if you have a daughter, it'd be less so. But if you had a son, I'm sure there's gonna be some asshole in 9th grade. It's like, hey, look at your mom, and pulls it up on his phone.
Of course,
like, what the fuck, man? Like
that's gonna happen. But you know what? When my kid is getting dropped off in like a nice ass car, and we have a nice ass house, I'm gonna be like, yeah, what does your mom do? What?
Well, also she's so young. I mean, by that point, it might be less. It might be less of a thing at that point.
She's young.
But I'm saying society might move past it a little bit.
It's something that I have to prepare for, but I really, it's all about balancing your life. There's a lot of great porn stars that are becoming moms too, and they're navigating through it. But you know, does that mean we just stop what we're doing? No, we can still. Actually, I did.
Well, it's also to be fair, like people in their regular lives who aren't porn stars are into weird shit. Like, I don't know what my parents were into. I'm sure they had sex because they had me, you know, like, but it's not on film.
Came from somewhere, right?
It's not on film. So, like, it's weird to be judged for something we all do in private.
Yeah.
But because yours is public, you know, and that's the thing. Kids are just shitty. Like as an adult, I wouldn't be like, hey, here's your girlfriend back in the day. If a buddy of mine's dating a former actress.
I mean.
But as a kid, kids don't have that sort of perspective or that maturity to be like, oh, that's, you know, mom's job. You know, like. And there are a lot of other embarrassing jobs out there, way more embarrassing than porn.
Look, it can happen and stuff, and you just have to get past it.
Yeah.
High school, and once you get past high school, then life gets a little easier, but
also
a little harder.
Mom too, right? It's like, oh,
of course, it's gonna make me the popular mom.
So-and-so's mom's
then
house.
At that
cool.
point, I'm gonna I'm gonna mold her to be a woman. But it's all stuff like it. I mean, hey. I did the job. I still got to put the coat on and, you know, be like, hey, look, I got a lot of life lessons now. But yeah, it's definitely something I have to prepare for. So I just try to divide that. No matter when I'm doing my work, my child is never around.
Well, why would you want? Yeah,
no.
Nobody should bring their kid to fucking work. I hated that I hated take your kid to work day as a kid. Didn't anybody look? to be fair, if I was, 14 years old and my mom was in porn and she took me to that work I would have been much more excited than going to my mom's accounting office.
I think you would be bugging her about it. Hey, when is that day? When's that day again? Can we do 2 in the year?
Can we go every day to take your kid to work day? But yeah, I don't want to go to my mom's accounting office where she dragged me from cubicle to cubicle. Here's my son.
I'm actually
But if my mom was like an adult star, I'd be like, oh yeah, we want to meet all my coworkers. Yeah, I want to meet all those chicks.
My parents were. I'm a military brat, so like I always went to like these military settings and stuff. Yeah, so I think maybe some of my mom's colleagues might have watched my stuff because they definitely treated me a little differently sometimes. When I after. Yeah. But I mean, hey, I think the oppression made me the person I am to this day.
Do you blame your parents?
I also want to say, hey, Mom, great, thanks for being really strict on me because
were they really
I
strict?
wasn't. I wasn't a crazy slutty girl, so then after high school,
you gotta catch up.
You're like, hey.
Well, at least you're getting paid for it, right?
The slut life is nice.
If you did in high school, you wouldn't have gotten a dime for it.
Exactly.
And at least you're older, so you make a wiser decision. Like if you're 16 years old and you're slutting around, it's you get pregnant by accident, it's a fucking mistake. There's a lot of landmines in that.
But if you're 22, that.
It's like, all right, well,
Yeah, I joined the industry when I was 24, so I was like, hey.
How'd you get into it?
That was the funny story.
Oh my God.
That's a story within itself. So, I was go-go dancing out here. I was like really good, and we're talking about like no stripping go-go dancing. Like I go-go danced at nightclubs and music festivals, and I reached that most success you can get out of that without
taking your clothes
off. And so then I was getting older, and I was like, fuck, I need to level up.
Yeah.
And I responded to this ad for fetish modeling.
Why fetish modeling first? Why not just regular shoots?
Honestly, the pay was good. I didn't even know what the fuck fetish modeling was.
You see, that makes sense. That goes to my question about like the menu. Like, is it more?
And it wasn't. I was just like, I'm going to try new things. So then I went. I got a call and I went to the shoot and I had a really good shoot. But I'm like, fuck is all this shit?
Yeah.
Like, And then I asked the photographer if he needed an assistant. I was like, I'll assist for you, whatever.
Oh, that's smart. You started behind the camera.
So then I was doing like wardrobe. I was like dressing these girls up. They're really hot. They're like porn girls.
You did like an internship with
and
porn. You're a porn intern.
Yeah, well, and then so the girls they like to smoke weed, and I was also I had worked at dispensaries. They didn't know how to roll blunts or joints. I was like, hey,
I got it.
Let's go. Yeah. And I got involved with the photographer. We dated, and we did this like wild, fucking crazy 6 months relationship. And then it wasn't working out. And so I was trying to leave the guy, and he actually was like trying to like extort me and blackmail me.
Oh my God.
And I'm like hanging with the girls, and they were all like, we're trying to tell you about him, but
he's a little bit of a crook.
Yeah. And then the girls were like, they're like, why don't you just do it? Like you're hot. And I was like, oh my God, I can never do that. That's crazy. And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I told the guy, I was like, I'll beat you to it. So what you got don't mean shit. And then I went into it, and I actually started to, kind of find some entrepreneurial opportunities. I found webcamming. I did it at like my comfort level.
Okay.
And it really opened a lot of doors for me.
That's one of the things I think, because it's becoming more and more mainstream, just adult entertainment in general with OnlyFans and everything, and people are losing the stick up their ass. It makes it a lot safer for the girls.
Yeah.
And even the male performers, I mean, guys, I'm sure have to deal with the same shit too, because they have to, a lot of times, especially mainstream guys, at least historically, they have to start in gay porn, even if they didn't want to. I heard that.
I mean, no. They don't. They don't have to, but yes,
but it makes it easy, and there's more money.
That kind of was
but
the thing.
It's like I feel like it had a seedier element to it before, when it was more underground, and now that it's shed some light on it, it's taking away some of the stigma, but it's also making it safer for girls getting involved. Like I said, like, when we started the conversation, talking about casting couches, like now it's like, why the fuck would I do that? I don't have to get on a cat. I can go on OnlyFans and do it on my couch in my house by myself.
You're like, I get cast couch myself.
I feel completely, exactly, I feel completely safe doing it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely been a lot more safer, and it's definitely like helping a lot more stars kind of be out there with it. Before it used to be like, you're Shelly, but then, you know, in your downtime, you're doing this other
you have like a separate
world.
life.
And I do know like a few girls that kind of did that, where it's like you're so successful, but it's like something you hide in your private life, so you can't really like be out there with it.
It's got to be getting harder and harder though with the internet to keep your two lives separate. You know, because I mean, like, if someone's gonna recognize, if you get popular enough, you're gonna be recognized. Like, wait a minute,
Luckily,
that lady who goes to my coffee shop is actually this lady. You know.
Luckily, I haven't really got noticed too much, but I think more as I do like podcasting and stuff like that, I do get noticed. And at that time, I'm always like, whoa. I'm like, hey, I kind of like fucking with people too. I like people like not knowing that I'm a porn star at first, so they could just treat me like just normal.
Well, I don't know why they wouldn't treat you normal regardless.
Well,
like, you know, like there's a lot of people with jobs that I don't do that I also like, treat with respect. You know, like
once I drop the news that I'm a porn star, it goes, oh, okay, I'm a scientist, and they got 29 questions that they want to ask me, and then also
do they look at you differently, like kind of
yeah, some people.
Well, I'm sure some guys like, oh, I bet she'll fuck me. It's like, wait a minute, just because she does it for money doesn't mean she likes you.
Well,
you know, like there's a little bit of that.
You gotta understand, some guys are delusional, and they do. It's like then they think it's like I'm inviting a dick pic, you know, so they just start. Yeah. Or
it's like treating like a prostitute. It's like, oh, she'll do it. Like, no, she won't. Yeah. Man. Like, you know, it's like those guys are like the guys that go to a strip club thinking they're going to bang one of the girls. It's like, that's not what you do there. That's actually what they look out for. You know, kind of thing.
It's the hypocrisy. It's like, are you serious? Yeah. Like, you really think so? You just got to watch out. You don't know how many people are gonna, you know, feel a type of way. So I get off on like fucking around with people.
Oh, it is funny, yeah. They don't know what you do. But I bet like it's funny because I see a lot of parallels between being a comedian and being in the adult film industry because we're both selling ourselves.
Right.
It's just, like we are the product, right?
Okay.
People who are fans of mine like me, like my comedy, like this podcast, like what they're what they're up to.
I got a great.
You work at night, right?
Yeah.
Like, exposure helps. Your exposure on the internet helps put people in the seats because you do still dance, right?
Yes.
So it fills the club up.
Like I got a lot of dirty jokes too.
Well, a lot of comics with the AVNs last week. I mean, they hire a ton of them to do all this stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all the parties.
I have a great friend of mine, Scott Shore, and he's friends. You know, he's Pauly Shore's brother and stuff. Yeah. And then he was like, I make stupid jokes. I actually met him at AVN. That's funny. And he was like, man, he's like, you should do comedy. He's like, but he told me that, you know, a lot of comedians that may go in if they're like a porn star or a stripper, you know, they get a little heat on them because maybe the other comics are like, oh, you're just going to slide through because you're hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's it's always, that's in any industry.
It's like
paying dues. Like they want to make sure you earn it.
Well, yeah, you got to earn
that about
it.
Like TikTok stars. Like there are TikTok stars who are now stand-up comics, and people are like, oh, fuck them. But it's like, well, no, there's some who like go to comedy clubs and just try and fill them up because they're a TikTok star and don't actually go out and perform stand-up comedy every night. But then there's a guy like Trevor Wallace who's a really funny comic who works every night, who also happens to be, you know, an internet sensation. You know, like so it's really just about doing the work. Like if we've never seen you come to an open mic and you just show up at the Improv one night and want to do a spot, we're like, well, wait a minute, like. She hasn't put in the work. But if you're out doing what we're doing, it's like, all right, fine, put her up. It's really about that.
You know, a great friend of mine, Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz is the best.
What I love, shout out to Coco. What I love about his style is he does a lot of storytelling from his crazy days. And I'm like, I could do that. I got tons of crazy stories in the strip club, you know, in, you know, porn world, but definitely the strip club, like probably my most funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to imagine there's more stories there because that's kind of like the unregulated market, right?
Yeah.
If you're shooting a regular video, I feel like people would be surprised at how clinical like a mainstream porn shoot is.
It's not sexy.
I get the vibe. It's like you show up to the office, like, You know, like, all right, cut, change positions. You know, there's people eating craft services while you're fucking. You know,
sometimes those craft services are pretty bomb.
I know, but I'm saying, like, instead of eating potato salad while you're fucking.
Well,
like,
that's what I try to tell people.
It's not.
I'm like,
you guys do the acting part.
I'm like,
all
you
right,
gotta
now make it look.
understand. So like, and this is kind of where like porn stars, when we hear that OnlyFans girls are being called porn stars, we're like, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. You may be a bedroom porn star, but we have to go to a set.
That's
and
another
it's like
parallel between
20
comedians and
people
porn stars.
around.
Yes.
And then, positioning,
lighting,
maybe a couple of lines, not, we're not getting like Golden Globes or anything, but
we haven't won an Oscar yet.
No, but I'm ready for my speech
you're ready for you.
if I ever get one. But, you got to give porn stars their flowers for setting the bar for a lot of the OnlyFans girls, because there is work that we do, but that's why it's like, I really feel like comedy and porn.
Yeah, well, that's another
really blend
that's
together.
Another parallel too. Like, like you said, OnlyFans girls, they'll put out their first video, and I'm a porn star. It's like, if you, as comedians, like if you've been doing it for 20 years, or you did your first open mic set, you get the headline, you get the label comedian. Like, there's really, how many porn stars are there? Like, how many like A-list porn stars, like actual stars that most of the general public would know? Maybe 20 or 30 or 50, but not every OnlyFans girl is a porn star.
Yes.
She just does porn. You're not a star. You just do porn.
The social media has hyped it. Sometimes the numbers aren't real. Sometimes they are, and it's, even I was excited to meet some of the porn girls or even cam girls that I've been following, and it made it more accessible. But, it's the different divisions of the sexy women. But the strip club, what I love about the strip club is...
It's like going to the comedy club. It's like you spend the night, you hang out with the fans after... Because after
the hustle?
After a show, I spend time with the crowd.
Oh, that's cool.
The meet and greets and everything.
What's cool is, especially in Vegas, I could be in the strip club and like maybe to some guy who flew into Kansas, like that's fucking cool. And then he could get he could get a dance from me, but then
it's a photo for his Instagram.
He can't do photos at the strip club.
I don't know. For enough money, people look the other way.
Maybe.
You got to pay. You got to pay the club.
You got to slide about it.
I'm sure Justin Bieber can take all the photos he wants.
But what's cool too is the art of the hustle of keeping them in the loop from doing a floor dance to getting a VIP. And
how do you pick your marks? You know what I'm saying? Like there's got to be art to that.
I'm a veteran, so
Have you been dancing longer than you've been working in the industry?
Sort of the same time. So when I started dancing, I crossed over to stripping. And I was like, shit, like...
I can make money every night of the week.
Instead of having like a set residency just for that club and the DJ. So then it was like, okay, I definitely built my confidence up and that's for me going to the club night after night back in the day and just trying out other people. I really have a good knack of conversation for any type of person, even if it's a guy who could barely talk. Because the whole thing is you're always doing your ABCs, always be selling. Yeah. And so I just go to anybody, but I definitely got to get a feel for like what they're dressed like, what they're looking like. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes the guy who ain't dressed that fine can, drop a couple racks in the VIP.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you pick your mark? Because I would imagine if I were a girl, I'd go to the fattest, ugliest guy in the room because I assume he never gets a woman's attention. So he's the one willing to spend the most money.
Sometimes those guys, they really use that to their advantage.
But that's the thing. There's the counterbalance, right? Because that guy looks like that, he must always be chosen as the mark. So he's really sharp at knowing how to work the girl.
He knows how to use his markness. Yeah. Honestly, I go up to anybody. Everybody. But if you're standing at the bar, I ain't going up to you because...
You want to get a drink first.
No, actually. Why? I only want to get a drink if I'm in the VIP.
No, but if I'm a customer...
but for you, yes.
If I go to a strip club, I go beeline to the bar because I want to get a drink before I do anything.
For you,
I want to get a drink, get comfortable, take a scan
go
of the room.
up to the guy at the bar, well, now we're in a weird situation because you don't have a chair, can't do a dance for you.
You're in the middle
on
of a transaction,
floor.
trying to get a drink.
Yeah, it's a little crowded. So I have to make sure they're at least sitting down so I can easily sneak in there, get a dance, and then obviously upsell to the VIP.
Okay.
But yeah, the VIP is where I like to.
And how much does the club? You basically pay rent like a barbershop, right? Like you basically pay to go in for the night, and they take it off the top, or they get a piece of everything.
Off the top, they have to order like 2 drinks or a bottle, depending on which experience they want, and then you get your fee right there. And then the bouncer comes to see if you extend. Man, I had like right before the holidays, I had this guy who he did 4 rounds of $1,000 VIP and was super easy. He just wanted to do his little fun stuff, and then he threw another like $1K for each of us on the floor, and he liked us picking up the money, which was totally fine with me. I'm like,
so I don't have to touch you, and I'll get the money.
Throwing it, yeah. And he didn't even do like weird stuff with us. He just wanted the company. I think he was just getting off and probably like doing his little bumps and stuff, the sneakiness. But yeah, those are good nights. Okay, that's like something different that OnlyFans I don't think can provide because
it's a live experience.
It's that human interaction.
Yeah, I make jokes on the internet. It's not. There's nothing like making a crowd laugh live. Right. You get instant feedback.
Right.
And that's the parallel.
Yeah.
What's the most you ever took a guy for at night while stripping?
Gosh, it's been a lot. I definitely have. So right now we're in stripper season, which is
stripper season. I didn't know season.
Okay, so it's like it's only if you know.
Well, fill me in. I've been to plenty of strip clubs, but I don't know.
So
I go for
fun,
I'm not like a regular.
Yeah. So January to March in Vegas, like that's the time to be a dancer because
wintertime they're all coming in from
the
over.
Conventions are all around. So Avian was like the first kickoff, and there's like CES.
Yes,
and you go all down the list.
Yeah.
Till March, football.
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Always a good time.
I had no idea.
That's why we love Tom Brady. Tom Brady, you are helping strippers, and you don't even know it.
When the Super Bowl's going to be in Vegas, it's going to be a fucking boom. It's going to rain money on you.
But
guys,
it's because when the guys come, like they watch the game there.
And then at night they go to the club.
No, like they do showings at the club, right? But you don't want to fuck around with them when they're watching the game because they also have a lot of bets.
Yeah, they got money on the
table. So then once that happens, it don't matter. We're taking care of the losers and the winners. Okay.
Yeah, the winners have money to spend and the losers want to feel better about their loss.
Yeah.
It's really a win-win for you.
I would say, I'm really getting good at this, like keeping these guys in the VIP, but like I don't want to. I don't want to ruin this, but I do a lot of like sneak drinking. So I pace myself when I drink. I let them get drunk. So
you should. That's the point.
Because then once you get to that point, their inhibitions, like when that bouncer comes and say, "Hey, just
keep running it."
Do you want to keep running it? Oh, they're happy. Yeah. I'm happy. So, but I would say 5K is probably like the max that I've gone. I'd like to step it up this year. Let's go more. Where the whales at?
Yeah. The fucking casinos could learn something from that because strip clubs are good about keeping you getting like if you want drinks in the VIP room, they keep them flowing quick.
Yeah.
And the drunker you are, like you said, the more your inhibitions are down. At the fucking Vegas casinos, man, they make it so hard to get a free drink at the tables now. It's like, dude, if you get me fucked up at the blackjack table, I will lose all my money.
Yeah.
Black me out here. Like, just feed me full of scotch.
I think there's like a lot of people that are doing that. They go, I'm just going to like pay on this little shot slots machine. And then they get the free drink. They haven't really been doing it.
You see, that's the problem. Like, I feel like people treat Vegas the wrong way. Like, you should go there assuming you're going to lose X amount of money.
Yeah.
And like and you shouldn't be like, I'm trying to keep this money. It's like, I want this money to last me X amount of hours on the table. And I'm okay with losing it all. The idea that you go there and think you're going to come out ahead is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
No.
They didn't build a city in the desert where there's no water like that big.
The house.
On people who won money. Yeah.
The house always wins. Okay.
And the same thing happens at a strip joint. Like, Be prepared.
But it's
be
a little
prepared.
different.
No, but you get your money's worth.
Yeah.
At least they check in on you every hour, and you are getting something like for that time. Like
And then
you might just be losing money at the casino, but you're
Sure.
actually seeing boobs.
But then
in the
you
strip
can
club.
make like I have a great regular from Boston, my Boston
Oh, I started
boy.
comedy in Boston.
And
who is he? Do I know him? Is his name
no,
Don
no,
Zolo?
no.
Don Zolo. Get out of the strip club. No, I'm kidding.
No, but when I met him, it was so funny. He bought a table or bought a bottle on the floor, and then I schmoozed him to go to to the champagne room, and he had to buy another bottle. And so that bottle on the floor that just got taken away, and he spent great money on me in the strip club, and we're great friends. But I remember I gave him my number, and then he like texted me back, and he goes, "I spent like an extra $500 for this bottle, and we didn't even drink it."
They wouldn't let you bring it back to the champagne room?
We just didn't happen to do
Oh,
that.
he forgot about it.
He
walked away.
was very good with my selling.
Yeah.
But now we're great friends because he's always
so now you don't forget his bottle on the floor.
Yeah.
He still pays, but you don't leave the bottle on the floor.
But he was impressed that he was like, wow. He's like, I gotta say, he's like, anybody who can convince me to go spend more money, and then I actually didn't even take a drip of that bottle. He's like, you're a good friend. So, there's a lot of like good things that can happen out of the strip club. The casino, I don't know.
Yeah, but now let's talk about the dark side, because I have to imagine that you have like a stalking problem. It's got to be guys. I mean, guys are creeps. It happens.
So like that boyfriend that I had.
Oh, he was a stalker.
He stalked me a little bit.
That's so frightening to me.
So that was probably the most scariest thing that I've had, because I also, like, when I went to Vegas, I was like, okay, I'm good. Part of the reason I started dyeing my hair red.
Oh, it's really to look different, so he wouldn't notice you?
Yeah. And then, I had random people that were recognizing me even before I started like shooting to get to him. And I thought that was really scary. But then I've also had a few fans that have maybe took the fantasy a little bit too seriously and have, if it was harassing my Instagram, harassing like, the fact to come to Vegas.
Yeah, they just show up at the club.
Yeah.
Like, waiting around the back for you to come out.
Yeah. So now I'm a fucking ninja. Like, I like to do ninja things. Like, I'll meet up with somebody or whatever, and then I run away, or I do weird shit just to protect myself from that. But
you don't have
there's
any
a lot
patterns
of
you don't go to the same coffee shop every morning.
No, I don't.
People find out where you are.
Actually, what I do is if I post anything where I'm at, I try to post it like way later or even the next day where I'm not there, because that can happen.
Yeah, because that's the thing I always worry about. Like, it's obviously it's getting more and more mainstream working in the adult business, but you can't remove crazy people from society.
Yeah.
So because it's becoming more mainstream, there's more sort of daylight on it, but then there's also your social media where they know what you're up to, and they could easily sort of track you around. Yeah. And that's the thing I think about, like the safety of the women, because I know it's a job. Like not every girl who's in who strips or is into porn is some sort of drug addict.
No.
This is a 1970s thing that like
no, I know. I hate that mindset.
Yeah, it's silly. But they're just regular girls doing working, and then when they're off work, they want to live their life. But their fans and their followers can make it fucking uneasy for them. So I worry about that.
So I think my dominatrix skills has
and you also
really
carry a pistol. It is Vegas though.
No, I don't carry.
No, tell them lies. She carries a gun.
Yeah,
guys.
everybody.
She carries a gun.
Yeah, I'm locked and loaded. Okay. I do dominatrix stuff, so I really like to fuck around with people.
Is that like your biggest moneymaker right now? The dom side? I saw you do one of the things that I'm most interested in, the FinDom.
Yeah, so that's financial domination.
That was one of the things that I learned about years ago that I was like, wow, that is a really specific, aggressive, very, very detrimental kink. For those who don't know, explain what FinDom is.
Yeah, let me explain, because
which is also, by the way, I think the best one to be into for the girl.
So for me, I've actually been a FinDom for about 9 years.
Oh my God, you must be the oldest FinDom. It must be like the original.
I'm not the original. I've followed and learned from the originals, but so before I was gonna jump the gun and do porn, I was about to leave LA, and I was like, okay, let me try one more thing before I really fucking do porn. And so another ad I responded to was
it's old school too. You're like in the classifieds. You're like looking at the West Hollywood.
That was back when Craigslist, we didn't have killers back on there. But and now that I actually look back, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking how could I have done that? But anyways, so I did this training. I did a
training. They have training for this. Amazing.
Not necessarily anymore, but there was a very small group. So this guy did this training, and before I got into BDSM, but I was a submissive. But I had just had a problem with my dom. We just weren't meeting eye to eye. But so I did the training, and then I did the meeting first, and I was like, you know what? After he's telling me about this, so he was like, yeah, you need to do an hour with me to do this training, and then we can move to the next step. And he was trying to tell me to leave my phone off for the hour. And back when you're 20, you're like, oh. I was like, who the fuck is this guy trying to tell me to keep my phone off for an hour? What? But then I checked myself, and I was like, well, you know what? Why don't I just do it? Because what if the hour is beneficial, right?
So before you get into that, explain what FinDom is.
Okay, so financial domination is a very particular niche. It's not for everybody, but it's basically that as the guy, their fetish may, be me, my attributes as the woman. That's why I'm a goddess. And they have to serve my fetish, which is money, shopping, lavish gifts, whatever I want. That money is the tool of.
Okay, so you use money instead of using a whip, you use their money.
Yeah.
And do they? I've heard it.
And it's kind of that 1% of men, because these are not.
Yeah, it's got to be very niche.
These are not average Joes. These are not hot guys that get any woman
these are
that they
executives,
want. CEOs,
doctors, lawyers,
yes.
guys who are all day in control of their life.
Yes.
Want to sort of get that release,
especially financially. So to have a beautiful woman say you're a fucking piece of shit and I'm gonna drain your wallet. That's hot to them, because nobody at their work would ever have the balls to say that, but they also kind of want that. They
that's why before I got into comedy, I was on Wall Street for 11 years doing investment bankers and all that stuff, and that's when I first heard about it. Because guys on Wall Street, big power brokers love getting their fucking money stolen by women.
It's huge in Wall Street. Actually, New York is it's
the place to be.
It's the mecca. Oh my god, when I'm in New York, I love New York.
Is it true that they'll give you their bank account information so you can log into their fucking B of A account? Right?
They get off on that shit.
And are a lot of them married? Are a lot of these guys married? That you'll lord it over them? I'll tell your wife, kind of thing.
Oh, blackmail is a huge thing, and you have to be super careful.
I know, right?
You have to be super careful
they call the
because you do have to be for me, I have to make sure that I have the messages that they are consensually wanting.
Because if they say otherwise, then you're getting arrested for.
But so they'll Team Viewer is really popular, where they basically give you access so that you can control their computers.
Oh my God.
Screen. You can see some pictures. They want you to find this thing so then you can hold that over their head. These guys are just, they're just getting away with everything. And so it's to play their little game that they want. They like that, but there's an art to it. And also I think a lot of women, as FinDom gets really mainstream or popular, girls, there's a lot of fake doms. You don't just.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They got to trust you to know that you're not actually going to rob them.
So.
You know what I'm saying? What's the safe word in a FinDom situation? How does that work?
Well, my word is Alabama. So I need to hear.
That's funny because mine is harder. No.
But I need to hear the whole world. I can't hear Alabama.
Yeah.
I need to hear all of it.
But what I'm saying is that's the thing. They have to trust there is a level of trust in FinDom because they want you to make them feel like you're going to fuck them over financially, but they don't want you to actually defraud them. So if they go to a rookie dominatrix who just straight up robs them. That's not what they were looking for, and then it is fraud.
And they can spot those out. So like the thing of the traditions of being a dom, you know, a lot of girls think, oh, I'm just gonna put the outfit on, I'm a dom. No, you have to be a submissive first. You have to learn from the bottom so that you can understand before you could top. You know, you have to learn. You have to take everything that you are going to do to this person so you know how to thoroughly, effectively give a good session. These guys, they're very serious, so they can tell when you're fake. If you're being too, like a lot of girls try to be so aggressive right away, you're fake. Why are you being aggressive before this guy hasn't even fed your fetish? Did you get money to be aggressive? No, you didn't. So when they do that, these guys, they know. So they can tell, like, and they're gonna pick at you, right? Because they want to fill you out to make sure you really are.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, you must have to have a sit down before you even get into it. Like, all right, what are the parameters? So I know what you like, what you don't like, where I go too far, where it's not enough. So there must be like, you know, like a one session where you guys are like completely normal. Like, hey, what you, and then after that, it's like, all right, you know, now keep up the act. You're Daniel Day-Lewis, and you have to method act from now on.
There's a procedure to it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be changing like my style of content. I'm going to be doing a lot more like education stuff, definitely like stripper tips, but my big workshop that I'm going to teach is I'm going to teach girls how to do financial domination.
That's really smart, because I think like once you've mastered something, you can make money doing that, or you could sort of level up and become the teacher, right? And then you teach other people how to do it.
So
right, I know a lot of comedians who make a lot of money teaching comedy classes. Not they make more money teaching comedy classes than doing stand-up.
I want to fucking sign up to this class. Like no, So I've been doing like my thing is I don't ever want to come from like, oh, I'm an expert and my way is the only way. I want to come at it as like, this is what I did, and you can, you know, find your whatever's best for you. And also I'm always a student, so I'm always learning more stuff, more skills. I actually just learned I learned
you learned how to get a blowjob.
Attempted
33.
I learned like the attempted like robber and like
oh, what, you jumped out of a bush on someone?
No, like attempting to kidnap fetish. It's so
Wait a
fun.
minute. Were you getting kidnapped, or were you kidnapping one of your customers?
Well, if a customer wants to have the fantasy to get kidnapped and like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's really fun.
You get like
fun.
A panel van and duct tape in the whole thing, like you
So it's also like to give the allure. There's certain tape that you get that it gives the effect, especially like if you want it recorded, it gives the effect that they're kidnapped and it looks like it, but it's really not. They're still safe.
They could pull it apart if they wanted to.
Yeah, but what I love about the internet, I used to do live sessions. Like I used to actually be in the room with these guys, and that
when you, like, dominatrix
when I did when I did my sessions, and then you know I did have some close calls where maybe it got a little too dangerous, and I stopped and I started to do it online, but I fell back into this thing. So on OnlyFans, I have been really like setting the bar. I after I had my baby, I got my boobs done, and so you know you're down, right? I was down.
We got to take time off.
I got to take time off, and I used to have one of my my subs cash register.
That's what you call him?
That's his name. Yes, he wants to be my cash register. So he was like, hey, he's like, you live in Vegas. He's like, because he would pay Skype shows, so to have me like for and like for my Fridays or Saturday nights.
Yeah, a regular night.
And so he was like, why don't you make like a reservation to a restaurant and then I'll pay for it? And I was like, nice. You know what?
Dinner for one. I'll go.
That sounds amazing. So because OnlyFans, you're like direct with the person. So I go on like Skype or Zoom. And so I did it and I got all dressed up. I had my tripod. I was into it. And you
set up a tripod on the table facing you?
Yes.
Everyone was retching like, what the fuck?
So
What's going on over there?
and that's the thing too. As a content creator, you just gotta go do it, even if people are gonna look at you.
I mean, if they're paying you, it's the job.
If you're paying you, so I loaded up my menu. I was like, I'm going steak, lobster, all like everything. Yeah,
I know what that is.
And so then when the waitress came back, she was like, okay, your bill's all good. And I was like, whoa, hold on.
He already sent it there?
No. I was like, where, how did my bill get paid? And she said, this guy paid for it. And so at the restaurant. And so then I had to like get off the thing with him. And I went to the guy and I was like, hey, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that really. And he goes, oh, he's like, you were so cute by yourself. He's like, I just wanted to take care of that for you.
But did he not know that another guy on the camera?
No, he did not know, right?
So you got two.
Well, look at this.
So the guy got
and then I had these other group of guys looking at me, and I was like, what? Because I don't walk around in the casinos looking for guys. So I was like, whoa, okay. I was like, and then I went to the guy and went back to cash register, and he's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm ready.
I was trying to pay for this. I couldn't pay for it.
I was like, you're not off the hook. I was like, we're going fucking shopping right now. And so we're going.
But did you tell him some other guy paid for the dinner?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
He must be like, fuck, man, that was my move.
Yeah.
That was my move.
So then I go into I'm like going into the stores and I go into Fendi and I'm like looking at these like glasses. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I fucking look great in these. He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm not taking these off. I was like, so cash at me, like it was like $650. Cash app to me. I bought it and I walked out and I was like, holy shit. I was like, did I just fucking
you got a free meal and a free
meal? Got some shopping done and I wasn't around nobody. And like, imagine if I had girlfriends with me.
Oh, would you pay for them? That'd have been a great move.
So then I started like, I've helped a couple of my girls and I'm kind of like opening their mind like, hey, like OnlyFans doesn't have to be just in the bedroom. It doesn't have to be just in the house. Like, let's fucking take this on an adventure.
And do you do all your OnlyFans yourself? Because I know the bigger girls have management companies
so
that respond.
I did. So that's why I really feel I'm on the verge of something. So I've always ran my page.
Because I have to imagine for the guys into those specific kinks, they need to have you do it. Like the point is you. If they felt like it was a bot or somebody in India on a computer, they would be like, fuck this.
They're really on top of it. I have a very good like connection with my audience, but I did. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll try some of these management companies off. Absolutely not impressed. A lot of them, they're using a script and stuff.
I bet it feels scripted.
But they are, they're just very comfortable with the submissive woman. I'm a different type of client. I'm a Don. So I monitored them.
And your clients wouldn't get you eating dinner like that unless it was you running your OnlyFans.
I mean, I'm sure there's like a coordination that you can do, but
but to keep that thread going, like, you would have to know the guy.
So this was my issue with these management companies. Like they wanted me to just basically give my page to them so they can run their own narrative. But I was smart. I was like, no, I'm gonna watch what you guys say, but I do these things. So when I do these things, that's all me. One of the management companies, they were trying to charge me for the tips that I made when I was selling it. And I was like, nope, that doesn't make sense to me. And they go, well, we're a team and we'll help you.
I was doing
we'll help you with
when you
brand deals.
When you run the thing, you get the 10%. When I'm running, I get my fucking money.
Right. And so a lot of them, sure, they got so many girls, so many clients.
It becomes like a little bit of a mill.
It is. Yeah. And they don't want you to micromanage them. They don't want you to they want.
Their job's easier if you just you show up for your shoots and then just go home.
And that's like what my content, when I want to put out, I want to say, hey, girls, go with those management companies. You're going to get 50%, anywhere from 30 to 50% of your profits taken from you on top of the 20%. Or you can be smart.
That's how much the management companies take?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get like 40% at best of your revenue.
I did an experiment because I was like, I want to gauge to see how many a lot of the companies are taking 50%, and this is
They better be driving new customers
but this
at that
is
rate.
something that I had to learn about contracts.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls, they're not reading these contracts. Sometimes they're locking them into terms and stuff, like year, 2
Oh my God,
years.
2-year
Yeah,
contract,
and
can't
you're
get
not
out.
reading this, and then it's like, okay, well, they essentially own
You
your
for
page.
that long time.
They're owning your presence. Like, this is why a lot of these girls that are coming out with these articles that they made these 6 figures, blah blah blah. It's like, first off, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Why don't you have an article saying, hey, after I made this money, I got a LLC, I got a S Corp, I officialized myself. Now I got a business account. Now you don't got to worry about banks or tax issues because now you're a business owner.
Yeah.
And this is the education that I think a lot of like porn girls, what we can give to the OnlyFans girls. As much as this money's coming in, there's going to be time. It's going to slow down. So why not prepare yourself for that? Then also just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Stop.
Stop
You know,
telling people
Wells
about about the back end.
Wells Fargo actually shut down a few accounts of OnlyFans creators.
That's insane to me because
Mm-hmm.
banks have famously taken money from the Nazis. From fucking drug lords launder their money through banks all the time. But OnlyFans now, for some reason, is too much for them. It's like, what the fuck?
And it's crazy. And it's like, what if this person's selling feet? It's just feet stuff.
Yeah, I know a chick who's making like 80 grand a month selling a picture of her feet.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So it's just weird. It's like, why? Okay, so you're not gonna bank with me over this.
It's money. What do you give a shit where it came from?
But but
it's not illegal. It's legal for me to do this.
This happened when I was shooting, and a lot of us who had Chase Banks accounts, we got our things taken away. So it's like a lot of girls gotta understand, like, great, it's fun, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to be prepared, financially.
The business side of it. Yeah.
There can be, a bitter man that, has an edge for you because he wants to make you miserable because he knows how you're making your money and maybe he knows about other, things, if it's like credit breaks or what. I don't know. There's a lot of guys. I get a lot of guys that try to scare me with that type of stuff.
Really?
But I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you could go ahead and scare me, but I got all my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
I have my business license. I got my studio. I'm like really doing this as a business, and I want to help girls just, get educated while you're getting into this industry.
So on a personal level though, how does it work on like in your dating life? I mean, are you married? Do you have a kid? I know you have a kid, but
I'm single.
Okay.
I do have a
Does it make
father to
I assume-
my daughter.
Yeah, I assume you're not the Virgin Mary.
Well,
It wasn't an immaculate
and
conception.
that's kind of a reason why me shooting with productions, I try to be really respectful for him.
Why? I mean, are you still with him?
No. But we co-parent,
Oh,
and
but what does he give a shit what you do? He must have known you. I assume your daughter's 2 years old. I assume he met you when you were doing this.
it just makes things better because it can be detrimental, like to cause arguments and stuff if I am doing that, especially with custody.
Oh my God! I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
The courts really look down.
And that's what a lot of girls got to understand. Sometimes it may not work out with your significant other that you had a child with, but it's the other stuff that you got to be prepared.
But being a single woman, like, how is dating in the industry? You just date guys
hard
in the industry? Because
No.
or do guys outside of the industry? Like, I don't know how that works because I know as a comic, it's tough dating
I've
girls. who
done
are
a little bit of
regular.
both. I've dated some guys in the industry, and like that's kind of cool because it's like
They get it. Yeah.
you could share that life, but then as they're a guy in the industry, there's a they got to do their thing
They're banging other
with
chicks, yeah.
other women and stuff. So I don't want to cramp their style. So it can make things complicated, especially if it's like two performers. But then I do date a lot of guys that are not in the industry.
How do they handle it?
And it's great. it's awesome in the
It's awesome until it's
beginning
not, yeah.
until then, you know,
Every night you're banging some other guy, like, what the fuck, man?
well, it's to, you know, to have the conversation of them kind of realizing. That's why I kind of like dancing, because I'm not doing nothing with nobody. I could still make good money.
The FinDom
and
stuff is you're not jerking any guy out. You know, you're just giving
no,
money.
no,
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, just money taken, shopping. Like, that's harmless.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they can't put that in court, or, I mean, like, what? I just drained some guy's card for
They can't be
shoes.
like upset at you personally. Like,
Right.
you just took money from a guy.
So there's, you know, there's ups and downs to it. I don't know. I kind of just like being single, and
It makes it a lot easier when you're
makes
single.
it a lot easier. But I tell guys,
Do you want to settle down? I mean, do you want to eventually get like a, you know, sort of move behind the camera and be like, all right, I'm just going
I
to
don't-
run my education classes where I'm teaching girls how to do this stuff.
I don't
And I
wanna-
want to find a guy and build a family. Is that the kind of thing?
I think I don't want to get married.
Yeah, I'm not a married guy either.
you know, this is like the purpose of it is I don't want to get married if I need to dip and I got to pay a divorce.
It's a good point.
But-
I've always said the only reason you get married is for the children.
Right.
You know, like I can love someone without getting the government involved in it. You know, kind of thing.
That's
You know, like,
exactly
you know,
how
we can have our whole lives together. I can live with you for the rest of my life, and we can act like we're married. We just don't have to go down to the courthouse and file paperwork about this kind of thing.
So that's kind of how I look at it. Also, you know, just other girls who may have gotten married and it didn't work out, and it's like just to go through that whole drag of that. And I'm in sexy business, so I'd like to be, you know, I'm a business owner. Like, I'm really going into I have a multimedia studio in Las Vegas. I worked for a lot of different cam studios. And so what I want to do is I want to have a studio where girls can come. I got equipment. I'm not trying to fuck them. I'm not trying to like exploit them. I'm actually trying to help them get in on the hustle. If they don't have money for the equipment to get set up, well, I can get them started and then teach them how to do it. But yeah, like I have a lot of good talks with cannabis that I'm trying to combine the worlds of like weed porn and events and stuff like that. So I'm in this for life, and you know, it's gonna make any guy not comfortable. And so,
How do you meet guys if you're single in this business? Is it mostly just people in and around the business, or like are you on the dating apps?
I'm not on dating. I'm not on.
I imagine you recognize.
I'm on dating apps to funnel them maybe to my
of course,
my pages, but no, I don't use dating apps. I just like meeting people through
Old school,
like
organically?
friends, organically, regardless if they're in the industry or not. I don't know. I don't even really focus on the relationships. I'm really into like
The business side
business
now.
and hustling, and being a business owner is like
lot of work.
really, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. It's like,
Well,
for
especially when you're
me,
working for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's one of the parallels between comedians and people in adult entertainment. Like, we are selling ourselves, but if you can figure out a way to get a fan base that likes you, you'll never get fired from that job.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're yours, they're all yours. They like you no matter, like, you know, they're willing to spend money on you, you know, every year, every month, or whatever it is. And you like I like going out and making people laugh. Who doesn't like having sex? Like it's one of those things that, like, you know, I started doing comedy and I was losing money doing it because I'd, you know, drive down to an open mic
Sure.
and spend a couple monies on a beer and do free 5 minutes or whatever. But I like doing that. Like,
And you were
I would do it
getting-
anyway. Like,
Yeah.
I would have sex for free. Why would I do it for money? I would like making people laugh for free. Why would I do that for money? You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Yeah. So, I and you know, I've been around before that, how so much easier it is to make money off of sex work and in a positive way, that like I want to be one of those people that are going to be the innovators that are going to change kind of the trajectory of how it is. Like, I'm trying to convince like strip clubs, like I'm like, as much as I'm there now, I have to kind of change my maybe like every other weekend I have to compete with like, okay, am I gonna go to the strip club and make some racks here, or am I going to go online
And build up my fan base,
keep building that up, doing it virtually?
Yeah, because that fan base is like more recurring, whereas you go to the club and you make the money that night.
Yeah. It's like the prime times.
I got to pay the bills, but do I want to pay for the
prime
future?
times are the same hour, but I'm always like, man, can you guys just like make a fucking room so after I'm done walking, making sure like everybody's good, I can go in this room and like sign on my OnlyFans and maybe
that's the move. Maybe you open your own club where you have like cam rooms and floor work.
That is something that I'm really trying to like put together. I'm trying to get the cannabis industry involved.
Yeah.
Like that's my move because I see a total open window. And also keep in mind at strip clubs, nobody teaches you.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches you. I can teach so many girls
how to dance, how to pick up a
all
guy.
through my trials and errors of everything that I've done that like why that's a great business opportunity right there if no one's doing it. There is a lot of now with the internet, there's a lot of teachers and other girls that are trying to teach.
Well, they have those pole dancing classes that become popular now, all that.
And I do pole.
Nice.
Pole training and stuff. You know, there's a lot of aspects that you have to like learn before just going to the strip club and getting it going. Time. Yeah.
All right, last question, then we got to go.
Okay.
What's the weirdest thing a guy's asked you to do as a dominatrix? Like, have you ever stepped on a guy's nuts with a heel?
Actually, we just did a ball busting video.
Is that what they call it, ball busting?
Yeah.
I mean, don't those guys get really hurt? Like, don't you like rupture a testicle? Like, I feel like stepping on a guy's nuts with a stiletto is real dangerous.
It's the earning system of like their reward, what they're gonna get after.
What do you mean the reward for you? It's a reward to get their nuts stomped on?
Yeah. Well, but these guys, they genuinely want it.
I know, but I'm saying, but isn't there like a medical, like if you step on a testicle with a heel, you could blow it up and they have to go to the hospital.
This is why I did. So I had I did an avian, or during avian, I rented a dungeon, and this girl who is a professional dom that does ball busting videos, we did a demo video so she can tell me the proper techniques.
Okay, so you don't actually bust the ball.
So yes, and that's what goes into being a good dom is, okay, I'm going to educate myself. All right, this is what I got to do. This is, you know, yes, there's pressure points and certain angles of the heel.
You're not actually pulling the rabbit out of the hat. You're not actually stomping on his testicle.
Yeah, and I picked up some good techniques of styles to do it. So there's not one way to do it.
There's more than one way to bust the ball.
Yeah. So I am pumped. So if anybody wants a ball busting session, I got a dungeon in Vegas. We could get this going.
Well, this is so much fun. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Domo Monster 7, or if you want my spicy page, it's Onyx Muse XO on IG.
Well, thanks so much for doing this. Love having you on. Guys, we'll be back next week. We love you. Peace.